Hello, folks. I figured during my little musings in the shower, which I enjoy doing so much, started thinking about Dragon Age 3, and could BioWare actually redeem themselves with Dragon Age 3? Is Dragon Age 3 beyond saving? Um, it's such a difficult thing, and I think what BioWare needs to do and needs to realize is that they aren't the big kids in the block anymore for storytelling. What's so interesting is that most people played well, I guess I need that light on. So unprofessional. Um, Most people saw BioWare games. They didn't really care about the engine as much as they cared about the story. The gripping stories that we got that we remember, and which is why we go back to play the games again to relive those stories. It's like rereading an old book that you love so much. And Dragon Age 2 came out. Dragon Age 2 definitely was streamlined to consoles. You can just see the feel of it. It felt much more like a console game than Origins did, and most people hated it for multiple reasons. But one of the leading ones was a story that just felt disconnected, and this wasn't BioWare. Mass Effect 3 came, and people liked the storyline, but it felt rushed to many of us, including myself. That the ending scenes that should have been the ending itself, just alone, should have been about 5 hours of amazingness. It should have capped and summed up all of your Mass Effect journey, from the first day of Shep to the last day saving Earth. Mass Effect 3 really should have been everything. It should have summed that all up, and instead we got a few teaser scenes here and there, but it felt like all of our decisions were hollow. That's what really, I think, irked a lot of people, is that everything felt so hollow. Especially the ending, the push-button ending, which is just inexcusable. I don't care if I have to beat the game again to see a different ending. That's what I want to do. I would want to beat the game again to see a different ending, and it doesn't have to be a good ending, a bad ending, and a neutral. No, it shouldn't be that at all. So, what can BioWare do to save Dragon Age 3? First of all, they need to hit that niche market again of the epic storytelling that they were used to, and streamline it for the PC. I know many console users may disagree with that, but the Western RPG, the story-driven Western RPG, tends to be, it needs a PC platform. It needs multiple keys. It needs that mouse. You can still make the console versions, but it should be streamlined. The engine should be built for the PC. Again, I'm a PC gamer mostly. I don't really like to classify myself as any type, so to speak, but if I have to choose one, the PC is generally where I spend the most amount of money and the most amount of time. So it has to be built really around that. Another thing that they should really, sorry, text message. Another thing that they should really focus on is BioWare needs to do some damage control. So how do you do damage control? You manipulate people. How do you manipulate people? You pretend that their opinion matters, and it should. But for example, before I lose myself too much in my thought process here, one of the best stories that we had of 2013 was The Walking Dead. 2012, sorry, was The Walking Dead game. Some spoilers ahead for you. If you've not seen that or played it, you really should if you haven't. It's an incredible story. What BioWare should do is go to Telltale Games and just throw out a tweet. Hey, we're talking with Telltale Games about some story stuff. It is not an insult to go to them about story element stuff. They made some of the most memorable characters. I mean, the chick, that was the first kid in a game that I didn't want to kill. You actually really grew attached to them. To Clementine, to Lee, and that whole bond. So go to Telltale. Say, all right, how did you guys do this? What was your motivation? How did you flesh this out? What did you do for this? Go to Telltale about character development. Don't see it as an insult. We all want a great story, right? I mean, we all want to come together with this, idea of a great story. So, God damn it, Skype. So let that happen. Let that working together happen. And I think BioWare has to get a little bit off the high horse too of that, what this is going to be. Stop trying to make the game that you think, oh my god. Stop trying to make the game that you think people will want to play, so to speak, based on sales numbers. That's not going to do it. That's not going to save Dragon Age 3. It shouldn't be this open world Skyrim. Don't capitalize on Skyrim's success. You're too good for that. What your RPGs are most known for is, and when I say an open world though, it shouldn't be a Skyrim, but it should be something like Baldur's Gate 2. There is a difference, and Baldur's Gate 2, is it really a sandbox game? I wouldn't call it sandboxed. But lean more towards that way if you're going to make it open world. Lean more towards the Baldur's Gate series or Icewind Dale's, or well, even Icewind Dale, not so much. That you can use as kind of a sandbox. My nose is killing me. The freaking dry air. Train of thought again. ADD. Try and build that market up. The issue is that you can't screw over your fans like you used to. The SimCity debacle has really, really taught us that if you try to screw over your fans for money, if you put the $ first, you will not have a successful game. And you will with your Call of Duties, your Modern Warfares, all of them that are kind of packaged and re-released. But don't do that. You're too good for that. BioWare, oh my god, Skype. BioWare really should be the pinnacle of great storytelling in a Western RPG, because it's dead. Great storytelling is really dead, especially from the Americas. We've got indie studios that are doing it. We've got CD Projekt Red, which I thought told an incredible story with both The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2. All I think the fans want is another Dragon Age Origin type of game. Is this long, sprawling adventure. And it doesn't need voice acting. It doesn't need shallow romances. I still look back, the Isabella romance in Dragon Age 2 was horrible. And Anders was, hey, how are you, buddy? You want to have sex with me, hot stuff? No, don't. It's fine if you want to have a gay character. I really don't mind that at all. In fact, I think it's very progressive. But don't shove the agenda down our throat, if you'll pardon the expression. You don't. Anders was a happy-go-lucky, funny guy in Awakening. And Dragon Age 2, they tried to force him forward as a totally different personality. It didn't make sense. Isabella, it felt very shallow in comparison. I still look back and smile on the story of Toegoff, the Berserking Elf, and Morrigan, the Wild Witch. It was a really neat love story that brought them together. I still look back on my Baldur's Gate 2 days with Eri and my protagonist, or Jaheira and my protagonist. They didn't feel like shallow relationships where it was just about filling up a meter. It wasn't just fill up your rivalry or friendship meter and give them enough gifts and they'll fuck you. So move away from that. Mass Effect did pretty well with it. In fact, I still look back on that pretty happily, where I originally went for Miranda in Mass Effect 2. She kind of turned me down, so I went towards Tali, and that ended up making a great storyline and fun. That was, again, Mass Effect 3 spoilers coming up. That was really the only time I've ever reloaded in a game to not have a consequence when Tali committed suicide. And I released my video on thoughts of that and everything. But if you can make me do that, if you can make me reload a game, that's pretty good. And I think BioWare can do it again. I want to have faith in them that they can save Dragon Age 3. you just have to get back to your roots as to what you are. You need to spend 2 years fleshing out a story with your code writers. Work with them on it. Work with, and stop trying to be cool, be epic. You're not going to be like that. Um, you can't just force being epic. Epic is a word that's used, it's so overused now that it's kind of lost its meaning. But an epic scene or an epic story has to have so much emotion in it. Dragon Age Origins spoilers, not really, but when Loghain, if you remember Loghain turning his back at the gates there, the signal fire was lit and he turned his back. That was an epic cutscene. I mean, seeing the king get crushed by the ogre and Duncan trying to jump on him and just getting destroyed there, that was an epic cutscene. That was great storytelling, though, because there was so much in that little ball of a cutscene. There was a whole story contained in a 30-second cutscene. You could easily show a cutscene for the same amount of time of Duncan killing, 70 Darkspawn, because he was so badass, standing with the warden, and it wouldn't have meant as much. So, I guess my thoughts to BioWare would be, try and capture the RPG market again, the storytelling market of the Western RPG. You easily can do it. Don't dumb it down with, trying to streamline it for the masses. Hit the niche market. You've got enough money. Hit the niche market. Hit that market that wants nostalgia. A main reason that so many people loved Dragon Age Origins was because it reminded them of Baldur's Gate and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It reminded them of those types of games. And so you hit the nostalgic market. I mean, that's why I bought it, was because it was BioWare, and looking at the game, it reminded me of the old BioWare games, and it also attracted a new audience. That's what you can do. Remember too, your audience wants to like you. Your audience hates EA. That's pretty much universal. But your audience wants to love you. So give them what they want. I hope my 12 and a half minutes of rambling there were okay. As I said, I woke up and just felt like doing a video on thoughts of Dragon Age 3. That's what I do in the shower. I think about video games. My God, what's happened to my life? Cheers, folks.